Good morning to you wherever you are on air and online, residents of Saint Lucia and viewing Saint Lucians, viewing of us from the diaspora. Special good morning to you. This is Saint Lucia's COVID-19 response report live from NTN in the GIS studios. My name is Jessie Leonce and I'm joined in by my colleague Carlton Cyril. Today is Thursday, the 8th of May 2020, and today there's a very special development happening. We have cruise line workers being repatriated to Saint Lucia in the sum of 219 cruise ship workers are coming back home today. Of course, they will be placed into quarantine immediately. I believe, Carlton, we have one cruise ship in the harbor already. So we just want to let you know, if you see cruise ships in the harbor, it's not that tourism is on and working. It is just to repatriate our cruise line workers today. I believe the disembarking will transpire this evening. So 207 cruise line workers will be coming from the Carnival Glory and 12 from the Caribbean Princess. So that will be happening this evening. Also, 2 have recovered from COVID-19, bringing our total number of COVID-19 recoveries in St. Lucia to 17. We will have the details to these stories in just a moment, coming from the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sharon Belmar George, in just a moment. Also, the lifting of the alcohol ban. It is effective today, or the liquor license suspension. Persons can now make purchases of alcohol as outlined and within the ambit of the state of emergency ordinances. And businesses allowed to sell liquor include supermarkets, mini-marts, small grocery stores, wholesalers, and gas stations. So take note of that. And we address this morning the viral video that has been circulating on social media, what appears to be very disgruntled civilians sending out some words to law enforcement. We had yesterday Lissa Joseph interviewing the Commissioner of Police, Milton Daisy, and we just pulled out a few clips of that. So if you missed it, you could get the gist of that interview this morning. And to go to it right now, before we do that, we just want to hand over to Carlton to just make his special welcome this morning.
Thanks so much, Jessie. Encore, nous toujours un plaisir vous dire et bonjour. Bienvenue puis nous ici à Headquarters COVID-19, ici en studio NTN GIS. Côté nous avons information développement, expressement nous voulons dire bonjour pour ces gens nous en l'autre pays. Ces gens qui suivent nous sur internet là nous avons dit bonjour. Bah ces gens nous sur radio nous avons dit bonjour. Quand la coutume nous savons nous avons un développement avec information qui a fait parmi bagaille jeudi à vendredi ou quand ça bonne nouvelle. Yon dans ces bateaux à Cachaï c'est travailler Saint Lucia c'est Saint Lucia qui travaille sur ces bateaux. Yon jaille ici à Carnaval Glory ou quand ça a amené à peu près 207 moun. Il jaille ici à merci Dieu merci papa. Parmi l'autre développement nous avons parlé à sous, il est venu pour moun qui a contacté puis testé positif. Il est venu pour vermine corona nous ni deux moun qui a recouvert encore quoi c'est moun ça kayo. Alcool il est venu pour wom quand ça permission jabay pour yon deux trois établissements pour yo ça vend wom mais l'année stipulation nous kaitan hod CMOA aussi et aussi nous de parler by commissioner latina interview et puis commissioner Milton Daisy qui ba information en chay moun ka parler sur en vidéo qui ka passer sur social media moun ka parler là by police là ben il y a adressé situation ça quoi wete puis nous en chay développement chay information toujours un plaisir pour vous et puis vous ici et puis moi et puis Jessie pas oublier c'est jeudi le 8 mai l'année 2020. Merci tellement. Oui, en écoute.
So this morning, you can expect an interview with Dr. Carlene Radix. She is the head of health at the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. Among other things, she will be speaking to us about the Commission's move to establishing a regional virtual marketplace to promote food security and to deepen intra-regional trade. It's something that's always been talked about. And of course, we're seeing the acceleration of many of the plans that have been made on island in the country, St. Lucia, as well as the region. So hopefully, we can get some update from her on that this morning. Also, Desert Star Holdings, Caribbean Star and Royal Saint Lucia Turf Club are proud to be a part of Saint Lucia's COVID-19 response. They will be making a special presentation to the Tourism Minister, the Honorable Dominic Fede, following up on the pledge at the telethon of $212,031 this morning. So we hope you can stay tuned for all of these activities in studio this morning. To go back to Lisa Joseph's interview yesterday with the Commissioner of Police, Milton Daisy, we saw circulating on social media, Carlton, a video of what appears to be a civilian sending some choice words for law enforcement. And of course, we didn't hear of any arrests and so on, and the Commissioner of Police did come on air to address that matter. We understand that there were even there was a soiree of sorts, a party, a social activity happening, of which police officers, I can imagine, off-duty cops being part of. And so we have a clip of Commissioner Milton Daisy responding to the viral video on social media.
This incident is of concern to us, especially since it would appear that members of the police force were in attendance. The Royal Saint Lucia Police Force condemns this sort of behavior and have launched investigations into this incident. I must commend at this point Sergeant Xavier and his response team in the calm manner in which they dealt with the situation. We are actively pursuing these individuals and are calling upon them to report themselves to the CID today, or else the police will find them. I will not allow the hard work of the police in maintaining law and order, especially during this COVID period, to be diminished by a few who appears to be on the other side of the law.
That was the Commissioner of Police, Milton Daisy, there confirming what transpired on that viral video, and also speaking on the fact that there were off-duty police officers who were part of the social activity. He explains, first of all, why the individuals weren't arrested for protocol violation right on the spot, because you had law enforcement there, you had persons in violation of the state of emergency ordinances, and of course there was a question from when Lisa Joseph was fielding questions from the media, there was a question querying why the individuals weren't arrested right there on the spot.
Yes, they were not. I think it was the decision, and upon assessing the situation, it was the judgment of the officer in charge at the time, the sergeant, who, because of the numbers and the manner in which these persons were already behaving, that it may have posed some difficulty with arresting him at the time. I know that the officer was armed, and I think that was the right decision that he took at the time.
Commissioner of Police there speaking on the very precarious position that law enforcement were in during the viral video, during the incident, and explaining why the police officers on the scene made the decision not to arrest, to detain anyone at that time. The police officers, the off-duty police officers, it was confirmed, also attended the social activity. The commissioner stated that they will be held accountable as like any other civilian under the state of emergency rules. So that assurance they're coming from the commissioner of police. Again, we look forward to hearing from the commissioner of police on any updates with respect to the arrests being made or anybody turning themselves in who were part of that social activity at Union, and we will update you in a subsequent broadcast. Meantime, we got a statement from the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sharon Belmar George, yesterday, and she was giving us an update on the two individuals, the two COVID-19 cases that have since recovered in the last week, as well as speaking to us on the cruise line workers who will be repatriated today. You would imagine that there would be health and safety protocols that would be undertaken, as well as the individuals, the 219 who will be coming off the cruise ships, their immediate quarantining until they are able to until they are deemed fit to return to the normal, the population. We have the first clip of her speaking on plans for the cruise line workers who will be disembarking today.
On Friday, May 8, 2020, the Department of Health and Wellness will receive 219 Saint Lucians who are cruise ship workers on the Carnival Glory and the Caribbean Princess. These passengers will be received and placed into quarantine for a period of 14 days as per the country's established protocol. Quarantine is necessary for persons who are well with no symptoms of ill health but who may have been exposed to a communicable disease. It restricts the movement of healthy people who may develop a disease after possible exposure to an infectious agent. In this context, this agent can be the COVID-19. Quarantine requires people to remain in a designated location for a specific period of time. Active monitoring by healthcare specialists, including temperature checks and assessments for respiratory symptoms, are done routinely for the entire quarantine period.
Dr. Sharon Belmar-George is speaking on arrangements that have been made for the 219 cruise ship workers who will be disembarking the Carnival Glory and Caribbean Princess cruise ships in our ports later today. And just to give you a run through an understanding of the batches of cruise line workers being repatriated, we had our first batch. They have since been discharged from quarantine. That's 8 cruise line workers. That was the first batch that came in a few weeks ago. And today we'll be having the second batch of cruise line workers being repatriated today in the sum of 219. And the Honorable Minister Dominic Fede, Minister for Tourism, he told us that scheduled for the 25th of May, we will be seeing the third batch of cruise line workers coming back home, of course, going straight into quarantine for the 14 days as per protocol. Speaking on the two more cases that have since recovered from COVID-19, I'm fingers crossed that we're inching toward another 100% recovery rate, and no deaths are recorded in Saint Lucia. Dr. Sharon Belmar-George spoke and gave some information on the 2 individuals that have since recovered of COVID-19, bringing our total number of recoveries to 17.
A total of 575 tests have been conducted nationally. As of May 7, 2020, Saint Lucia has recorded a total of 18 confirmed cases of COVID-19. 2 additional cases have recovered, bringing to 17 the number of cases that have fully recovered and have been reintegrated into their communities. We now have 1 active case currently in hospital care, and this individual is recovering well.
That word there coming from Dr. Sharon Belmar-George, the Chief Medical Officer, on the 2 latest recoveries of COVID-19. In St. Lucia, to date, we have 17 individuals fully recovered from COVID-19, and we have 1 more still being treated. And as we heard from CMO, the person is stable and responding well to the treatment. Before we go to break, I just want to give you the final update, and that's what we received from Commerce Minister, the Honorable Bradley Felix, yesterday, and it is the lifting of the alcohol ban or liquor license suspension. As of today, effective today, businesses allowed to sell liquor under the ordinances of the state of emergency can do so effective today, and that includes supermarkets, mini-marts, small grocery stores, wholesalers and gas stations. There were certain factors that were taken into consideration by Cabinet before making this decision, one of which was whether the population had understood the need to practice social distancing. We know that alcohol brings people together. St. Lucians are social people, and we like to come together and have a good time. And so part of the concerns with the alcohol was that persons would be likely coming together to sharing drinks and so on. Also considered was an assessment of the gains, the advances made in our management of COVID-19 in St. Lucia. So that word there coming from the Honorable Minister for Commerce, Bradley Felix, giving the go-ahead for businesses that are allowed to sell liquor under the state of emergency ordinances to do so effective May 8th. Carlton?
Chay information là Jesse avec développement encore nous avons dit merci ou écouter nous ici à Hod Headquarters COVID-19 Hod c'est vendredi quand parmi bagay nous ka discuter ben Jaoué puis tan là ni pour faire puis police là nous te acting police commissioner Milton Desi qui a adressé une situation ou qui a suivre social media qui a observé la teni une vidéo qui a mouché moun qui a joué police moun dans un désagrément et puis police et puis là il a adressé situation qu'a dit à l'air police là a tiré chapeau pour moun qui était responsable pour yo police là qui était responsable à l'air qu'a servi jugement pour dire situation était à manière hier quand il pas entamé arrêter personne et puis yo vié adresser situation fait investigation yo et puis c'est pour raison ça yo pas arrêter personne là même mais yo ja arrêté moun qui fait un coup pour ces moun qui était involvé dans une activité casser coffre a été passer les coffre c'est moun ça était là dans une activité yon dans ces bagaille là qui était bien il patte mais qui fait la peine pour autant que c'est la tenue police qui patte qui travaille pour jouer qui était involvé en activité ça quand investigation qu'a continuer mais yo a été ayant d'autres trois moun qui a couillé moun qui était involvé qui casse coffre pour soupler mener ko yo entrer pour yo ça fait agir puis matière ça l'autre développement nous CMOA il parle ben nous adresser nation ka ben nous information en parmi au kaisab Jodia les 8 nous ni deux en ces bateaux Saint Lucia qui travaille sous ces bateaux ça en tout 10 bateaux ben yon dans ces bateaux qui a mené 207 c'est moun ça et puis il jaille ici à bon matin c'est bateau Carnival Glory. Là dans l'autre nous expecté pour aujourd'hui en la wad là ça c'est Caribbean Princess il a une 12 aboy quand souhait débattons en la wad là c'est parce que ça c'est Saint Lucia qui te travaille à c'est différents bateaux yo ha viré yo ha retourné repatrié Saint Lucie et puis nous bien content pour ça bien content pour ça date qui là vini pour c'est port il a été fermé police c'est Jean Custom département santé autorité là vini pour immigration et puis police qui conduit activité là c'est yo qui a mené ça qu'a fait quand yo ka mandé yo ka dou pour fermer jodia quand yo conducter ça ou kay bien savoir aussi si un mois a fait bien clair c'est moun ça yo kay mené yo toute quarantine pour 14 jours et après ça yo kay ça aller kay yo quand famille yo kay ça parler ba yo sous phone téléphone en yon manière ben l'autre mais bien important pour fermer ces gens ça yo tout kay ni pour mettre masque yo ka mené yo quarantine et après pour 14 jours yo kay yo parler de quarantine DC moun changer la teni 3 moun qui te trouvé qu'on yo testé positif avec après traitement et ben si un mois fait bien clair pour date à présent de ces moun ça dès en 3 yo voye yo kayo quand nous simplement ni yon moun qui après traitement et ouais traitement calibré docteur a dit yo pas une pièce complication et puis tout bagaille qui a marché quoi pour date Saint Lucie nous teni 18 moun qui contacté et ben trouvé qu'on yo positif testé positif pour 20 maintenant et qu'à présent nous simplement ni 17 a recouvert et yon moun seulement qui était quoi ça c'est bonne nouvelle tout bonnement sur l'autre développement qui a fait là vini pour homme yon chay moun de ka mandé question qui joue pour qui ça gouvernement pas ka bay ces places là qui a vendre permission pour faire ça et ben nous turn hot honorable Bradley Felix hier qui fait bien clair gouvernement considérer tout ça qui a fait là yo ja bay permission pour certaines places ça c'est business et place qui ja approuvé pour ouvrir et qu'à vendre ces hommes ça pour vendre place comme gas station supermarket minimat ti boutique yo ha ba ça c'est moun qui a approuvé encore moins répéter moun qui ja approuvé yo ha ba c'est moun ça permission pour vendre commencer hodi à condition ou pas supposé gagner homme et boy la même ou supposé boy homme nan ay kayou Yo pas vle moun assemblé les yo gen wom nan ces place là wete like boy encore yo ka observer distance sociale là. L'autre bagay lancé yo ka vendre wom 7h bon matin pour 6h or soit ça c'est condition les vini pour ça quoi bon nouvelle tout bon monsieur bon matin avec nous ka quoi moun kay comprendre ça ya et puis Jessie mwende c'est maman c'est yo qui ni plus bonne chance nous ka di bonne fête maman pour moun nous ka quoi moun kay changer nous en bas protocole toujours qu'on a suivre protocole masque la way do wala boyas ou boy ou gain kayou ni pour aller puis avec souple distance sociale chaîne ni nous mener qu'on les hommes nous coupent conditions avec manière ba la calé parce que déjà les autorités j'attendent et puis nous ka quoi moun même kay suivre directive avec jit qui bay par les autorités là vini pour moun ka comporter koyo en public. Jesse?
Thank you very much for that, Carlton. If you're just joining us, a special good morning to you watching on air and online. This is the COVID-19 response report for this morning, the 8th of May, Friday. We have quite a few, we have an interview this morning with the head of health, OECS, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, with Dr. Carlene Radix, and she will be speaking to us, giving us some updates in terms of the sub-region's response to COVID-19 so far. And we will also be getting seeing a handover presentation being made by Desert Star Holdings Caribbean Star and Royal Saint Lucia Turf Club, making a following up on their pledge made at the telethon earlier, last month. And that is to the tune of $212,031. And that presentation will be made to the Tourism Minister, the Honorable Dominic Fede. We've seen quite a few donations being made so far. I think this week, if I'm not mistaken, we had Event Star Structures making the donation of
the
face shields, as well as the government and people of Cayman Islands. They made a donation of 50 test kits to Saint Lucia after we made a donation to them of a special component of the test kits, enabling them to prepare the test kits in the first place. And there was also a donation made by Courts Unicoma, following up again on the pledge that they made at the telethon of $100,000 in cash and kind. So this morning we will receive the latest donation toward the COVID-19 effort in Saint Lucia from Desert Star Holdings Caribbean Star and Royal Saint Lucia Turf Club. So stay tuned for that. And when we come back, we will be speaking to the head of health for the OECS. And before we take a break, a tip of the day: honor caretakers and healthcare workers supporting people affected with COVID-19 in your community. Acknowledge the role they play to save lives and keep your loved ones safe. A gentle reminder of the hotline that you can call for COVID-19 information, 311, and for psychosocial support, 722-6575 or 518-4157. We are live from the Information Command Center. This is the COVID-19 response report for today, May 8th, 2020. Stay tuned. We have more coming up in just a moment.
Coronavirus? I am worried, Gassa. It's only old people dying from that.
Hold up. Being young does not mean being safe. Yes, it's true that the elderly are at higher risk, but anyone can get the virus. The effect is even worse if you have a chronic condition like hypertension, heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes, or weakness in your immune system. If you are living with these conditions, be extra careful. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol when hand washing is not possible. Avoid touching your face. Take steps to boost your immunity through proper nutrition, exercise, rest, and take your medication as prescribed. Limit being around people who have flu symptoms, even close family members.
Our health is in our hands. Together, through simple actions, we can stop the spread of coronavirus. This message was brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is the COVID-19 response report live on NTN. If you're joining us, a special good morning to you. We just, before the break, giving some updates for the 24-hour cycle. In addition, we have the COVID-19 protocols for community and faith-based organizations. We got word from the Minister Leonard Spiderman Toot, from the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Local Government and Empowerment, stating that all faith-based organizations are required to prepare a COVID-19 response plan regarding the new measures stipulated with regard to the protocols for the community and faith-based organizations. This plan must be submitted to and approved by the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment at the soonest. Please continue to practice social distancing and a frequent personal sanitation. Also remember to please wear a respiratory mask when out in public. So that they're coming from that ministry, Minister Leonard Spiderman Toot. Also persons want to know what are the conditions for worship, going to church and so on. We got the clarification from Minister Bradley Felix that there was no closure of churches.
Right.
It is just that they violated, if they were to assemble, they would have violated the social distancing protocols. So we encourage all faiths to submit their COVID-19 response plans regarding the new measures stipulated for the COVID-19 protocols for community and faith-based organizations. Hopefully, so that as soon as possible, these churches, these faith-based organizations can once again find a way to worship at the soonest. Carlton?
Et puis, bonne nouvelle encore, Jesse. Moi, couillé semaine ça, bonne nouvelle, parce que nous attendons un chai développement là, venu pour lui. Encore, bonjour et merci, si vous attendez voir nous, nous en headquarters Vermin COVID-19 ici à Studio GIS NTN. Ou kaitan parmi bagay nous a discuté, là, venu pour l'église. Ou quand ça va présent, ou ça fait application, là, il venu pour l'église religion, ou ça fait application avec ministre qui est responsable, honorable ministry, honorable Leonard Spiderman Toot. Il a conformé, là, il venu pour vous, qui est l'église, et bien, rien pour faire religion, ou ça fait application. Et puis là, il y a fait moun changer. Là, il vient pour ça, là, les conditions, according pour l'église, according pour gosser l'église, il y a ces conditions, ça, avec application, qui trouvé quoi examiner. Et là, il y a approuvé, ben, il y a ça aussi posé faire. Pour à présent, trouvé quoi informé. Là, il vient pour l'église. Là, il vient pour rien qui n'est pour faire religion avec mon cas assemblé ou ça fait application à présent. Il y en a ces bails là qui était bien clair. Les honorables Bradley Felix était ici et puis nous hier il était ici à fait un annoncement là il pour faire puis il fait bien clair l'église pas fermée. Il n'a pas fermé religion et l'église, mais il fait clair, là il vient pour protocole, et là il vient pour moun ka assemblé ou ka ça été bien difficile pour moun pe faire ça quoi, il y a ni requirement et conditions. Parmi bagay moi quoi été l'homme maintenant 30 pieds par carré pour chaque moun, mais il y a ces conditions ça qu'on a trouvé qu'on informé à présent, là il vient pour Jean l'église, il y a ça fait ça. L'autre bagay nous ka parler by Dr Radix ou ka ça là venu pour santé en ces petits pays OECS là c'est lui qui responsable qui en tête là qui nous attaque information en laisse ça qu'on journée en continuer comme la coutume nous ka ba ou développement coin après coup ici à mais ka sorti en parmi bagay nous a discuter ou ka savent encore Dr Radix qui parler ben nous qui m'a baillé parmi ces pays OECS là nous avons aussi ton hot DSH c'est pour ça qu'a fait une présentation parmi l'autre nous te hahen yonde en si maintenant quoi ça va continuer quoi wete puis nous comment ni la coutume cadeau information nous ka ba oui développement qu'on a fait ici à c'est headquarters Vermin COVID-19 merci tellement pour qui ka écouter et ka wete ici et puis nous. Jesse?
Thank you for that. Today is World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day. At this point, we have a video highlighting this observance. We can go to that now. was a quick video on the observance of World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day being observed today, the 8th of May 2020. What we're going to do is take a quick break. We are on standby. We're waiting on the call from Dr. Carlene Radix, the head of health at the OECS, and we'll take a break. When we come back, we engage her on the latest developments of the OECS efforts in response to COVID-19. Stay tuned.
And in the latest news, the coronavirus, or COVID-19, continues to be a health emergency across the world. Caribbean people are concerned.
Everybody know about COVID-19. COVID-19. Keep socially distance and your proper hygiene. Wash your hands then clean. Don't discriminate cause it might be. It very well could be. Somebody will look like you or look like me. Listening, listening. We're in this together. Yeah. We all got to work with each other. Yeah. Look out for our friends and our neighbor. And if you feel sick, don't be afraid to call the doctor.
Red Cross volunteers from across the Caribbean, working hard to fight discrimination. So if a person should feel ill, then they will contact the authorities without hesitation.
The most vulnerable are the elderly, but the truth is it can infect anybody. So what we need is solidarity. Everyone helping everyone like a family. So
this is a message to the nation. Make sure you seek out the right information from official sources like the Ministry of Health, Red Cross and the World Health Organization.
Everybody know about COVID-19. COVID-19. Keep socially distance and your proper hygiene. Wash your hands then clean. Don't discriminate cause it might be. It very well could be. Somebody will look like you or look like me. Listening, listening.
People around the world facing this pandemic. Coronavirus have the whole world a panic. Now is not the time to be fearful, but to be careful, supportive and empathetic.
This is the state of the society. Some people full of fear and anxiety. Yo, a lot of fake news in the community. But what we need now is more love and unity. So
this is a message to the nation. Make sure you seek out the right information from official sources like the Ministry of Health, Red Cross and the World Health Organization.
Everybody know about COVID-19. COVID-19. Keep socially distance and your proper hygiene. Wash your hands then clean. Don't discriminate cause it might be. It very well could be. Somebody will look like you or look like me. Listening, listening. We're in this together. We all got to work with each other. Look out for our friends and our neighbor. And if you feel sick, don't be afraid to call the doctor.
Virus, ready to harm us. Panic is not the answer. We can win this together.
Often use hand sanitizer. Better yet, use soap and water.
We must protect each other if we are to beat this corona.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for Saint Lucia. Together let us win this war. A soldier, together we can beat this corona.
So you don't become the next case. Avoid touching your face. I'm sure you've been told so. Handshakes and hugging are no, no.
Advice is you to please. Cover your mouth and your nose if you cough or sneeze.
Practice social distancing and avoid large social gatherings.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for Saint Lucia. Together let us win this war. Saint Lucia be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
For further information, please contact the hotline at 311 or the Bureau of Health Education at 468-5349.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. Just to let you know again, we have the head of health at the OECS, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, scheduled to speak to us this morning on updates from that organization later this morning. Also, there's the release of a paper titled COVID-19 and Beyond. And this paper examines the socio-economic impact of the pandemic on the OECS region and puts forward expert recommendations on the way forward. So we'll be hearing from Dr. Radix on that and more in just a moment. Meantime, between time, just to give you an update, we have collected up to $1.8 million so far of the pledges made at April's telethon. So just to give you that information, over $2.5 million was pledged, but we've collected up to this point $1.8 million, and that is to go toward COVID-19 efforts, including the personal protective equipment for the frontliners. This morning, we continue to receive the follow-ups, to those pledges. We have Desert Star Holdings, DSH, Caribbean Star, and Royal Saint Lucia Turf Club. Proud to be part of the Saint Lucia COVID-19 response. On May 12th, the group pledged a total of $212,031. And today they will be making that presentation to the Honorable Minister Dominic Fady, Minister for Tourism, Information and Broadcasting, Culture, Creative Industries, as well as he's the chairman of the COVID-19 Response Telethon Committee. Persons would have been wondering how we're seeing the Minister Fady for these purposes. He's also the chairman of the COVID-19 Response Telethon Committee. So that is coming up this morning. We implore you to stay tuned for that check presentation, as well as the interview with Dr. Radix this morning. In stark contrast, we go back to the behavior of certain persons in terms of, it dampens the efforts, it dampens the optimism that surrounds, St. Lucia getting a clamp on COVID-19. Persons not obeying the law and persons assembling in groups and so on. We bring to focus, into sharp focus, the concerns over the liquor licenses being, suspension being lifted, and the alcohol ban being lifted, and now persons have the ability to do so. And we do hope and we do make a special admonition to persons in the public domain to not gather, to not have social gatherings, parties, soirees, whatever, beach parties, river limes, whatever you want to call it. Do not gather in celebration of this liquor license suspension being lifted. We do hope that you continue to abide by the law. We are seeing the effects of persons not abiding. The Royal Saint Lucia Police Force is definitely on the beat. They are on the ground, and we saw that with the ancillary River Lime session that was intercepted, and we also saw that with the Union incident. So the police, while there may not be immediate actions taken for the detention of individuals, there will be follow-up work done. Investigations will be conducted to ensure that justice is done in amid this COVID-19 situation.
Definitely, Jesse, and one of the things we would observe with all this happening, amidst the good news, we are hearing the cruise ship workers coming in. I mean, everybody littered to know, family members I could well imagine, and even
relief.
The workers themselves. I mean, there's no place like home. We are hearing that. We are hearing 2 of the 3 persons we had in isolation. We had quarantine and then isolation tested positive. 2 have gone home, so we only have 1. And like you rightly so, you said we could see ourselves going back to our 100% recovery rate. But for some reason or the other, with all the announcements, with the reinstatement of the liquor license, Okay, it shows obviously government and cabinet taking into consideration people's frustrations and, you know, easing up. And of course, we have to highlight the fact that Honorable Bradley Felix rightly said they took into consideration that majority of the persons of the citizenry would pay attention to protocol. So at least that was taken into consideration. But then we cannot help go on the other hand to see the two or the few among us that, you know, seems for one reason or the other to be rebelling. And I say rebelling because for some reason or the other we forget we're still under curfew. We still forget it's not business as usual. We haven't gotten a vaccine or cure for COVID. It's still amongst us. And of course, we have the evidence. The latest victim, 51-year-old, never traveled.
And everybody seemed to be in a panic when there was an increased presence of first responders in the Miku North area where that 18th case is from. He works there, he lives there, and of course, as you mentioned, he has no history of travel, nor has he interacted with anybody who has a history of travel. So it means that the community spread is confirmed. If it wasn't before, if it didn't dawn on the public before, this should, you know.
And then, of course, Jesse, we have to, and we keep pounding it, and we keep saying, when it comes to that, people, please follow protocol and listen to authorities. Wash your hand, social distancing. This thing is real.
At this point, we want to begin our interview with the head of health at the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Dr. Carlene Radix. Always a pleasure when you call in. A special good morning to you.
Good morning, good morning. It is always a pleasure. Thanks for having me again.
Wonderful. First of all, we're getting word that there was a release of a paper from the OECS speaking on the socio-economic impact of this pandemic. Can you tell us more about that document?
Absolutely, yes, very exciting. The document is about to be released. It should be released early next week. And the document provides a clear assessment of the economic and social impacts of the crisis on our OECS member states. And it also gives, what's a bit different about this document, it's not just about assessment, but also about action. And it gives immediate and longer-term recommendations that can be useful both to policymakers and specific sector interests.
Okay. It stated that the notes that I have, the paper is meant to strengthen evidence-based decision for making for policymakers, and it also targets sector-specific stakeholders. Can you tell us about efforts so far by the OECS in this regard?
Certainly. So in terms of the different sectors, some of the different recommendations include, as you can well imagine, building resilience, certainly strengthening our health systems to be able to respond to emergencies of different types and pandemics, but also including other sectors such as the regional agricultural sector, interregional transportation networks, movement of goods, ensuring food security, things like regional e-commerce and digital trade, and new market approaches within the tourism sector. Of course, it's going to be a phased approach and very careful as we consider reopening, but certainly looking at interregional travel and trade as a first step and how we can move forward. Generally looking at building resilience to future risks and learning, taking the lessons learned from this COVID-19 crisis.
Okay. I know we spoke the last time on food security. Can you give us an update on, well, at least what you can tell us on OECS discussions so far with health ministers, with governments on the food security concerns, as well as intra-regional trade?
Absolutely. And so the discussions continue, the avid discussions, both at the level of the OECS and the wider Caribbean region at the CARICOM level with regards to intra-regional trade. Of course, at a time like this where resources from the outside are somewhat limited, it reminds us of the need for food security intra-regionally and for us to be able to depend on each other. Some highlights I think I mentioned to you before. There's work on a general regional food security plan, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been out in front with their food security plan. Also, St. Kitts and Nevis has a unique virtual marketplace that they have done within their federation, whereby agricultural produce can be traded in a virtual marketplace, so that if there's a need for a certain amount, several small providers could give some fraction of that amount through the virtual marketplace. And it's something we're looking at the OECS level to potentially upscale.
Wonderful. I hope you could speak perhaps to the unique situation in St. Lucia as compared to other members in the sub-region in terms of the way we are faring in terms of the COVID-19 response. Sometimes it's good to let the population know, put these things into perspective.
Well, certainly, St. Lucia has been exemplar in their response. I think certainly in the response at all levels and through all sectors, the health sector, the way in which the different sectors have come together for a coordinated response. And every response is important. So from the health sector response, the emergency sector and response in terms of transportation, certainly at the borders early on, and continuing in terms of continuing to consider the protocols, and then and generally ensuring that essential services and supplies continue as we try to curb this epidemic. But the results are showing there has been definite blunting of the curve and recovery of cases. So this is true for St. Lucia. It is also true for most of our, for all of our member states within the region, that actions taken are showing results. And the curve is certainly flat in the OECS region. It's been flattened, and that is compared to our neighbors in the north, where the numbers continue to rise. The curve continues to be on the rise. So we're doing good things here. And I think sometimes when things are not exploding, we think that nothing is being done, or the things are unnecessary, but it's because of all of the actions that we're collectively taking that this is happening. So I want to commend all the work, and a big part of that is communication. So I want to commend you, too, your team. All of the work that's being done in St. Lucia is really resulting in the impact that we want to see.
Thank you for that. Strong as our weakest link. Can you reiterate the synergy that is the OECS at this time in responding to COVID-19, ensuring that everyone is held up by their sister member?
Absolutely, absolutely. Only together can we come through this crisis, and have we been coming through this crisis. We've spoken on this program before about the sharing of items between member states. We know that there is often sharing of human resource expertise. Persons don't have to physically move, but certainly they are sharing the expertise among professionals in the different areas in terms of how we respond. And I think only collectively have we been able to do such drastic measures so quickly to enable all of our citizens across the OECS to be better protected.
Okay, we're seeing cruise line workers being repatriated to the islands. We know that in the OECS we have a lot of workers that work on cruise ships globally. Can you speak to the dialogue, the extent of dialogue that is being had with regard to that repatriation in general at the OECS level?
Absolutely. The dialogue is great at the level of the heads of government, at the OECS level, and even at the wider Caribbean level. It's very important, the balance between ensuring the safety of returning citizens, who need to return home, and ensuring the safety of the public when they're coming into shore. So there has been extensive discussion and with guidance from the Caribbean Public Health Agency on protocols to be used as persons are repatriated. And this is happening not just in Saint Lucia, but across the Caribbean region.
As many measures are being taken, don't want to keep you too long, but many measures are being taken to ensure that our public remains sober. And as of today, effective today, we've seen St. Lucia's cabinet lifting the liquor license suspension, allowing St. Lucians to now be free to go purchase alcohol. And of course, with all things considered, not social distancing, maintaining social distancing and so on. We would definitely appreciate an appeal on your end for good sense to prevail with this latest privilege.
I am so happy that you asked that question and that you mentioned it. First of all, let me commend the original order to suspend the sale of liquor, especially in the beginnings when we were all, this is a new pandemic globally. And so while measures are being put in place, we're all finding our feet, and it's good to find your feet while you're sober. Now that we know, we understand the protocols, we know what we need to do, I will implore that good sense prevail now that limited access to alcohol is available. Alcohol should not be used as a coping mechanism. Many of us are coping with the continued stress of the new situations that we are under. And so I would implore persons to remember not to use alcohol as a coping mechanism. And if alcohol is being bought and or used, that moderation and judgment is in place. Certainly, I don't see if you're going out into public, if you have to be in the lines and doing your social distancing measures, you want to make sure that you're completely sober to be able to ensure your safety and the safety of people around you.
Wonderful. Any final words, parting words?
Just to say that it's always a pleasure speaking with you. It's one community in the OECS. Together we must.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good day. Bye-bye. That was Dr. Carlene Radix, the head of health at the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, speaking on many of the latest developments happening around COVID-19 here in St. Lucia as well as the wider region. We're going to take a break at this point, and when we come back, I hand over to Carlton to just give a summary in Creole of this last interview. Stay tuned.
Because of how quickly the coronavirus spreads, each new case calls for increased public vigilance. Know what is happening, understand why, and comply. Think of the protocols as war tactics. Personal protection tactics. Keep 6 feet away from others. Avoid riding the bus, gathering on beaches, in bars, and shops. Public protection tactics. Quarantine yourself if you feel fluish in case you have been exposed. Call 311 or a respiratory clinic for advice. Country tactics. Partial lockdown. Supermarkets, small grocers, pharmacies, and ATMs are accessible before curfew. Total lockdown. Everywhere stays closed 24/7 for a stipulated period. Team tactics. Don't only follow the protocols. Be a protocols police. Let's win this.
Together let us win this war. Saint Lucia be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
dit bienvenue. Merci avant pause là, où tu as observé. Nous parlons de Dr. Carlene Radix. C'est lui qui est responsable pour santé en ce pays OECS. C'est lui qui est tête quand on s'avance, c'est responsabilité à l'aide. Il pour discussion qui a pris cours parmi ces pays OECS là, il a devant. Eh ben nous parler puis avec moi de qui manière bagaille. Et là parmi bagaille il dit Jesse yo vient pas document pour montrer qui manière ces pays ça doubout dans temps là nous en situation comme pandémique. Là, il a dit en chaque bagaille ni pour prendre en considération. En parmi eux, il dit là il vient pour ça système santé nous. Il dit et ça ni pour dans manière date qui bagaille en place pour si en tous les cas nous trouvons qu'on est dans une situation qui et puis yon COVID-19 avec min et ben n'importe situation yon pour faire assurer système santé nous en place et il ça doubout eh bien, ça répond situation là vini. Il dit pas ça simplement qui supposé trouver quoi mettant dans en manière pour répondre. Et il parlait de agriculture, il parlait de transportation, sécurité nous et puis justement nous fait business en parmi ces pays là. Il dit yon a ces bagages là qui bien important là vini pour agriculture et manger nous. Il dit garder ces plus gros pays à présent yo même ka débattre pour qui manière yo ça arranger bagay en place as a résultat de Covid. So là vini pour ces pays OECS là côté nous doubout nous ni pour ça à présent nous besoin yon à l'autre nous ni pour mettre bagay en place et qui dit ces bagay en place là ni pour manière nous ka faire business là vini pour manger. Et nous besoin manger ça pour soin qu'on nous pour soin ces pays et si nous venons ensemble il dit ensemble nous tout plus fort quoi document ça il dit qui yo a mis en place qu'a examiner qu'a mettre bagay en place qu'a qui manière nous improuver sécurité nous parmi ces pays manière nous voyager manière nous faire business et qui dit très important il dit ensemble nous ni quoi monsieur et dame bagay féminin ça pas affecté nous simplement Saint Lucia mais tout ces pays Caraïbes blanc yon a ces bail avant Jesse qui était allé Jesse Mandey là il venu pour Saint Lucia qui manière Saint Lucia même a trouvé quoi qu'a combattre féminin et qui dit Saint Lucia c'est un exemple Saint Lucia j'ai fait un chaque bagay mettre en place ici à gouvernement avec peuple Saint Lucia a mis en place il dit c'est exemple pour les autres ces pays après en considération il était bien vite pour dire là il venu pour situation côté yo permettre affaires homme pour vendre et bail permission pour place qui j'ai pour vendre il dit il a quoi monde qui prend en considération date qui ou panique aller gain homme avec vaiti avec pas mêler mais changer nous dans situation toujours nous ca combattre maintenant quoi il a quoi monde qui changer ça avec monde qui fait bon sens yo conduit pas dit temps nous hen permission ça Jesse.
Just to remind you, this morning we have coming up at about 10 a.m., scheduled for 10 a.m. This morning, Desert Star Holdings, DSH, Caribbean Star, and Royal Saint Lucia Turf Club, proud to be part of St. Lucia's COVID-19 response. If you would have remembered, we did put out a statement on DSH making a pledge, the group making a pledge of a total of $212,031, and this morning they will be following up on that pledge with the presentation, the check presentation to Honorable Dominic Fede, the Minister for Tourism, Information and Broadcasting, Culture, and the Creative Industries. He is also the chairman of the COVID-19 Response Telethon Committee, and he will be accepting that check in that capacity. So just to make a note to persons that I believe we've collected $1.8 million so far.
Out of the 2.5 million.
Out of the over $2.5 million that have since been pledged toward the COVID-19 efforts here in St. Lucia to go towards things like PPEs, the personal protective equipment for our frontliners, and so on. This morning, just the statement, efforts on the COVID-19 response via the GoFundMe has also raised US $72,350. And just to let anybody know, if you are desirous of donating to the cause, you can do so via the local bank account at Bank of St. Lucia. The account number is 104-511121. I'm going to call that out again. The account number is 1045111121. The name on the account is National Community Foundation and the SWIFT code BOSL-LCLC. On Tuesday, May 12th, the GoFundMe platform will be closing, and so we encourage everyone, if you weren't able to on Easter Sunday for the telethon, and you can do so now, we encourage you to make your donation, show your support to frontline workers, as well as the National Feeding Program. The aim is to move the needle, if I'm quoting Jeraine George is there, move the needle from US 350,000 to US 100,000 on the GoFundMe over the next 4 days. And definitely the understanding by the COVID-19 response telethon committee that not everyone can give, as some have had to face certain uncertainties with this pandemic, but we do accept thoughts. We do accept wonderful thoughts and prayers as well. Coming, good energy,
definitely,
good energy to come towards Saint Lucia in terms of dealing and managing COVID-19.
And rightly so, Jesse, and just let me reiterate that. Encore on changer pour Pâques là, nous tenons un téléphone ici. Attention, c'était pour amasser l'argent et puis marchandises, produits, juste monde qui ni l'état et temps yo pour bail, nous t'ai accepté ça. Ou quand changer, les nous quitter, nous t'ai à peu près 2,5 millions de dollars t'ai à trouver quoi contribuer. Pour date, ou quand ça information, nous ka joindre, yo déjà amassé à peu près 1,8 million de dollars qui c'est mais c'est si moi ni pour dire ça sent bien un bon info, mais pour aller plus loin pour vous qui l'autre pays et puis pour gens qui déjà fait contribution yo à sur internet là ou qu'ils savent déjà nous n'est 72 350 $1,000 déjà amassé, ça c'est l'argent américain, US, ça c'est sur internet là. Et nous encourager moun qui veulent bail bon changer depuis un pack nous commencer ça et puis là yo te quitté adresse là sur internet là ça fait GoFundMe et puis pour date 72 000 dollars à trouver quoi contribuer. Et nous apprécions ça tout bonnement. Information c'est à compte ça sur internet là, yo kay fermé le 12 mai. Quoi pour vous qui peut-être pas t'attend pour première fois, pas savent nous cadeau où ça fait contribution. Limoa Banque Saint Lucia, Bank of Saint Lucia, Limoa c'est 1045 yon de yon. Encore Limoa ça 1045 yon de yon. Encore, ça c'est Banque Saint Lucia, Bank of Saint Lucia, et à compte là, National Community Foundation, et pour qui est l'autre pays, Swift code là c'est BOSL-LCLC. N'a vie répéter ça en anglais pour qui veulent faire une contribution pour l'autre pays là venir pour compte là Bank of Saint Lucia 104511121 and of course the name of the account National Community Foundation and the Swift code BOSL-LCLC où ça fait contribution. Encore raison nous ka dou ça, raison ça ka prend coup, c'est parce que nous reconnaissons ces gens qui travaillent là venus pour combattre COVID-19. Yo besoin ça yo crié PPE, ça c'est équipement pour protéger corps yo. Yo aussi ou kay savent l'argent ça ou kay savent un dan qui aller pour soin monde qui plus vulnérable parmi nous parce que c'est monde ça tout fait corps yo affecté. Quand pour une bonne raison depuis ou même où ça contribuer nous ka apprécier ça tellement. Il y en a ces bagages là qui dit aussi là venus pour situation si on y manger si on y a une bagaille qui bail yo ka apprécier ça parce que dans temps qu'on à présent tout le monde yon manière l'autre ka trouver corps yo affecté. Bonne nouvelle là nous ka vle dou aujourd'hui aussi là vini pour ça faire homme yo permettre business qui ja approuvé pour vendre supermarket gas station quoi aujourd'hui on ka chay moun ka sort dehors avant fête maman on ka ça dimanche c'est fête maman quoi un bon cadeau tout bonnement mais ou qu'attend encore avertissement messieurs souple reconnaissez sous en public pour mettre masque là laver la main, distance sociale la 6 pieds, chaîne ni, et nous ka kwe bien sens kay conduit, et nous kay comporter corps dans manière mais c'est qu'on grand monde. L'autre bonne nouvelle qui a sorti jeudi vendredi, et si ouvert la wad là on kay la ni yon les moi trouvé en studio la te hani yon Carnaval Glory. Ça a mené ces Saint Lucia nous qui travaillent sous ces bateaux à peu près 10 différents bateaux mais ces bateaux a mené ces moun ça en tué il y a des bateaux qui ont tué Carnival Glory qui a mené 207 avec les vini pour Caribbean Princess il y a 12 aboy changer c'est pas nous tout seul ces bateaux ça passé en tout Kawaii blanc la Dieu moun qui te ka travail do wala yo tout trouvé ko yo puis laisser pays avec ces bonnes fermé quoi sous de ces bateaux ça là la wad la changer ça pas veut dire la wad la ouvert yo ka mené Saint Lucia qui te ka travail l'autre pays à bord ces bateaux yo ka mené au vie tout nous bien content pour tant ça et encore ces moun ça yo ka aller directement quarantine yo ka suivre protocole yo ka ni masio et yo ka été là pour 14 jours. Bonne nouvelle encore aujourd'hui à la vini pour 3 ces moun nan nous ni qui te trouvé ko yo testé positif. Nous ni deux ces moun ça yo havre yo kayo et puis nous était yon moun seulement ça c'est une bonne nouvelle nous ka fait pas nous ka combattre vermine combat ka marcher Jesse à sous point ça moi ka dit yon dans ces bagay là nous ni pour parler concerné ces moun après yo un traitement pour vermine Covid là
à l'hôpital
oui et que yo voye yo la kayo moi quoi moun ni pour comprendre changer c'est moun ça après traitement c'est moun ça pas ni vermine ça c'est moun nan yo have test yo aller et qui have négative quand c'est moun ça pas ka poser pièce danger ba pièce on les yo vié quand nous ka demander moun pas toi casser koyo pas percer moun ça expressement ça c'est moun c'est famille ou maman ou c'est ou foi laissez moun ça vient comme accepter yo et puis aider yo parce que c'est pas un bagay qui bien simple pour dire ou fini faire c'est que tout le monde a quoi ou ni Covid toujours quoi nous ka mais rempli et do wala nous ka dou souple monsieur laissez moun ça venir accepter yo bienvenue yo fait ça au paix et puis c'est moun ça Jesse la yo vie.
Absolutely, because these persons were at one point, you know, at a risk of losing their lives due to COVID-19, and quite commendable, you know, through efforts of health workers and also their own resolve as well, because part of getting well is your own, you know, work internally, you know, to get well. So it definitely hurts. It's definitely a thing of concern when these individuals are not welcomed back into their communities as they should. Stigma. Let us not stigmatize the individuals who have who returned home, who've been cured of COVID-19 disease, the COVID-19 disease. It is a virus, and if you do contract that virus, you get the disease, and hopefully through treatment, you become well. There have since been no deaths in Saint Lucia. Up to now, we know we only have one case that is being treated at the Respiratory Hospital, formerly Victoria Hospital, and the other 17 have been cleared after numerous checks by health officials. And I'm certain that from the CMO down, that no one with coronavirus who has been confirmed with this disease would simply be let out of their facilities where they are detained and held and treated and so on. All of this effort to go for nothing and to just release these individuals. If there was any hint, if there was any iota of a thought, a hint that there was still a trace of coronavirus in these individuals. So please welcome them with open arms. They were, you know, at the brink of a very life-threatening disease, and we hope that they can be returned and celebrated at this time, you know, because it's a thing to be celebrated in a time globally where persons are succumbing to COVID-19, and we're seeing with our cases here on island, these people are pulling through. They are pulling through, and we hope that they are not the subjects of stigma in their community.
Because just you know, c'est pas là qui bien important pas dit nous ka parler à sous ces moun qui a trouvé ko yo point traitement pour vermine Covid. Nous ka dit gars qui ça qui a mis en place pour ces gens noirs qui ka retourner qui te ka travailler sous ces bateaux. Ces moun ça ka venir gars précaution yo ka prend. Yo ka prendre toutes ces moun ça mettre yo en quarantine pour faire assurer yo pièce pas ni vermine nan. Après si yo voye test là yo une pièce qui positive, yo kay voye yon isolation à présent.
La ni an chay to avay ki ka fait, you know.
Exactement, avant c'est moun ça. Quand ça nous ka di c'est un chay moun nous ka di c'est parce que un chay c'est moun ça ignorant et puis information. Yo ignorant di information, yo pas ça Jessie. Ou ka compagnie di pour yon bagay qui tellement dangereux, pour yon bagay yo di ou l'ové, peut-être ça trop et pour moun ça haviller en place là. Quand ça nous ka di a toute précaution qui jamais été en place, c'est parce que nous voulons assurer nous pas mettre ces moun ça et mettre plus moun en danger.
Any stigmatizing energies, we hope that you can redirect it to reported cases of individuals who perhaps are coming in back door, the illicit border entry. We want you to report those cases. Use all of your energies and your concerns and your fears and report those individuals that you suspect have come in illegally into the country. We are due for a break. When we come back, we have the special check presentation to be made by the DSH group to the government and people of Saint Lucia. Stay tuned.
Saint Lucia ka registré vermin corona ek I ka fait mouvement ek an chay vitesse tan chaque canef ka kouye pour vigilance publique là fait wolo parler en place publique kon bol en main base ti boutique changer distance sociale 6 pieds hodion à l'autre I ka travail tan si ou senti ko pas cordial quarantine ko pas en contact et puis l'autre en cas où te toi pe exposé c'est un écuyer free 11 ou ben n'importe clinique yo pou les pays a dimi à clé ça veut dire les supermarkets pharmacies et puis ATM yo accessible avant cette souhait. Pays à clé en plein, ça veut dire tout bagay fermé à 24 heures. Servi protocole comme sorti par bureau indication santé. Nous tout ensemble, ça sauver vermine corona. Si nous tous servi jidla à toutes les.
Together let us win this war. Saint Lucia be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Because of how quickly the coronavirus spreads, each new case calls for increased public vigilance. Know what is happening, understand why, and comply. Think of the protocols as war tactics. Personal protection tactics. Keep 6 feet away from others. Avoid riding the bus, gathering on beaches, in bars, and shops. Public protection tactics. Quarantine yourself if you feel fluish in case you have been exposed. Call 311 or a respiratory clinic for advice. Country tactics. Partial lockdown. Supermarkets, small grocers, pharmacies, and ATMs are accessible before curfew. Total lockdown. Everywhere stays closed 24/7 for a stipulated period. Team tactics. Don't only follow the protocols, be a protocols police. Let's win this.
Together let us win this war. Saint Lucia be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
state of emergency. Everyone is running scared. But like a knight in shining armor, you've been there. We can see a brighter tomorrow because you're here. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring us home. Thanks for working on the front line. Don't know how you cope. Thanks for working on the front line. My angels in disguise. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring tears of joy to my eyes. Firefighters, first responders, putting their lives on the line. All the nurses and doctors, the work you do is so divine. The police traffic officers, sacrificing every day. And all your family members, God protect you all, we pray. To all those who are departed, they gave their lives to serve. For being so kind-hearted, blessings you deserve. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring us home. Thanks for working on the front line. Don't know how you cope. Thanks for working on the front line. My angels in disguise. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring tears of joy to my eyes. So many workers we don't see, all a part of this fight. Like all the cleaners and security who work day and night. Food suppliers and pharmacies who medicate us all. So many more to add to the list who responded to the call. There's no greater love than God's love in this land. Yes, He's watching us from up above. He's your biggest fan. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring us home. Thanks for working on the front line. Don't know how you cope. Thanks for working on the front line. My angels in disguise. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring tears of joy to my eyes. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring us home. Thanks for working on the front line. Don't know how you cope. Thanks for working on the front line. My angels in disguise.
And in the latest news, the coronavirus or COVID-19 continues to be a health emergency across the world. Caribbean people are concerned.
Everybody know about COVID-19. COVID-19. Keep socially distance and your proper hygiene. Wash your hands then clean. And don't discriminate cause it might be. It very well could be. Somebody will look like you or look like me. Listening, listening. We're in this together. Yeah. We all got to work with each other. Yeah. Look out for our friends and our neighbor. And if you feel sick, don't be afraid to call the doctor.
Red Cross volunteers from across the Caribbean, working hard to fight discrimination. So if a person should feel ill, then they will contact the authorities without hesitation.
The most vulnerable are the elderly, but the truth is it can infect anybody. So what we need is solidarity. Everyone helping everyone like a family. So
this is a message to the nation. Make sure you seek out the right information from official sources like the Ministry of Health, Red Cross and the World Health Organization.
Everybody know about COVID-19. COVID-19. Keep socially distance and your proper hygiene. Wash your hands then clean. Don't discriminate cause it might be. It very well could be. Somebody will look like you or look like me. Listening, listening.
People around the world facing this pandemic. Coronavirus have the whole world a panic. Now is not the time to be fearful, but to be careful, supportive and empathetic. This is the state of the society. Some people full of fear and anxiety. Yo, a lot of fake news in the community. But what we need now is more love and unity. So this is a message to the nation. Make sure you seek out the right information from official sources like the Ministry of Health, Red Cross and the World Health Organization.
Everybody know about COVID-19. Keep socially distance and your proper hygiene. Wash your hands then clean. Don't discriminate cause it might be, it very well could be, somebody will look like you or look like me. Listen. We're in this together. We all got to work with each other. Look out for our friends and our neighbor. And if you feel sick, don't be afraid to call the doctor.
We got this. Yeah. I'll fi make it. Ooh. We don't have no other choice but to be strong.
We're gonna make it.
What do you mean?
I am a voice of hope, and I just wanna let you know that I believe in our strength as a people and the promise of a bright tomorrow.
And I want you to believe and trust.
I know God is watching over us, and I believe if we all come together now, everything will be alright.
sanitizer. Better yet, use soap and water.
We must protect each other if we are to beat this corona.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for Saint Lucia. Together let us win this war. Be a soldier, together we can beat this corona.
So you don't become the next case. Avoid touching your face. I'm sure you've been told so. Handshakes and hugging are up. No, no.
Advice is you to please. Cover your mouth and your nose if you cough or sneeze.
Practice social distancing and avoid large social gatherings.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for Saint Lucia. Together let us win this war. Saint Lucia, be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
For further information, please contact the hotline at 311 or the Bureau of Health Education at 468-5349.
Corona came crashing through, brought the world to its knees. Thousands didn't know what to do. It's just a cough or a sneeze. From babies to the elderly, no one's been spared. It's a state of emergency. Everyone is running scared. But like a knight in shining armor, you've been there. We can see a brighter tomorrow because you're here. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring us home. Thanks for working on the front line. Don't know how you cope. Thanks for working on the front line. My angels in disguise. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring tears of joy to my eyes. Firefighters, first responders, putting their lives on the line. All the nurses and doctors, the work you do is so divine. The police traffic officers, sacrificing every day. And all your family members, God protect you all, we pray. To all those who are departed, they gave their lives to serve. For being so kind-hearted, blessings you deserve. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring us home. Thanks for working on the front line. Don't know how you cope. Thanks for working on the front line. My angels in disguise. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring tears of joy to my eyes. So many workers we don't see, all a part of this fight. Like all the cleaners and security who work day and night. Food suppliers and pharmacies who medicate the song. So many more to add to the list who've responded to the call. There's no greater love than God's love in this land. Yes, He's watching us from up above. He's your biggest fan. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring us home. Thanks for working on the front line. Don't know how you cope. Thanks for working on the front line. My angels in disguise. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring tears of joy to my eyes. Thanks for working on the front line. You bring us home. Thanks for working on the front line. Don't know how you cope. Thanks for working on the front line. My angels in disguise.
Thank you so very much for staying tuned. We are live from the Information Command Center. And as we promised you earlier this morning, we now have a presentation to be made, a Czech presentation. Despite the buckling of economies globally in response to COVID-19, we're definitely seeing, thankfully, no shortage of support from the private sector here in Saint Lucia. We now have a presentation from Desert Star Holdings, DSH, Caribbean Star, and Royal Saint Lucia Turf Club, and they are proud to be part of St. Lucia's COVID-19 response. In studio, we have the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Information and Broadcasting, Culture and the Creative Industries, and he's also the chairman of the COVID-19 Response Telethon Committee. And the representatives from the group making the presentation today, we have Mr. Ben Walden, the COO of the Royal St. Lucia Turf Club, as well as Mr. Chi Choi, the project director of DSH. I hand over to Minister Fede. Good morning.
Morning, and thank you very much to your listeners. Let me take this opportunity to introduce Chi and Ben again. Chi is going to have some brief remarks first before we go any further.
Okay. On behalf of DSH and the Royal St. Lucia Turf Club, we're just very glad that we could play a part in helping the government initiative in this effort in containing this coronavirus. It's certainly a extraordinary times. Livelihoods are affected, and as a company, we've been here over 5 years now, and we are very much part of the community, and we just like to play our part in helping the government's effort. So, Ben, maybe you want to say a few words?
Yes. I'm new to the island, but in just 4 months, I've grown to see her beauty and her incredible attributes, both in her people and the island. The Royal St. Lucia Turf Club looks forward to a great future here, and it's a privilege to be here and in a position to help in a small way. Thank you.
If I can just get Michelle to join us. Come on this side, Michelle. We need a rose among all the thorns. Come in, Michelle, from the NCF. Well, thank you very much, Chi and Ben. On behalf of the people of St. Lucia and the government of St. Lucia, it's been our absolute pleasure to thank you. This is such a fine example of corporate responsibility on your part, and I'm sure that this will go a very long way in aiding the objectives of the telethon. We had an outpouring of private sector support, which meant that we raised somewhere in the region of about 2.5 million Eastern Caribbean dollars. Our GoFundMe page is still in activation, and last time I checked, it was over $70,000 US, and people are still giving and donating, and the crisis has really mobilized and brought out the best of St. Lucia, whether big companies, small companies, private individuals, St. Lucians in the diaspora. It's been an incredible outpouring of well wishes and support. We've made significant strides here in St. Lucia with the fighting of the pandemic. The last report I received from the Ministry of Health suggested that we're somewhere about 2 positive cases, while we would have recorded 18, but most of the cases that were positive have actually recovered well. And St. Lucia is among the top countries, not just in the Caribbean, but in the entire world in terms of how we have managed the pandemic. And I want to take this opportunity to say thanks to St. Lucians for adhering in the most part to the advice from the experts at the Ministry of Health, and by wearing their mask and ensuring that they at all times adhere to social distancing and to do the best that they can for their families and indeed for the country. The monies that we're receiving today, among others that we've received during the successful telethon, is going to go towards purchasing PPE supplies for our frontline workers, police officers, nurses, doctors. But it will also go towards a national feeding program, which is so critical to give support to the vulnerable as we do lockdowns, as we may disrupt from time to time the supply chain of food and other essentials. We have found that it has become extremely difficult for individuals who are bedridden, who are disabled, and who may find it difficult to go to supermarkets and stand in long lines. And what this project does is to reach out to those individuals and to care for them in a way we should as a responsible country. I want to thank Michelle, who's here with us today, Michelle and the board of the NCF, Mrs. Farwell and her board of directors, for their outstanding support to the telethon and for the tremendous support that the team at NCF, from the chairman, the board of directors, and the executive director, who worked tirelessly to put on this telethon and help us to get this through. And I just want to say what an amazing outpouring of support and coming together this has been. I'm going to ask Michelle to say a few words of thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Good morning, viewers. On behalf of the 8-member committee chaired by Mr. Minister himself, I want to thank everybody who has donated to the National Response Telethon. To date, we have collected approximately 1.8 million. As you know, when you go into a telethon, you get pledges, but the proof of the pudding is always in the eating, and collection is always the process that actually shows the support. And we're doing very well, so we want to say thank you. We want to also ask you to continue pledging. The pledging platforms are open. Our GoFundMe pledge platform will close on the 12th of May. You can continue to pledge at Bank of Saint Lucia to account number 1045-11121. And if you're sending a wire transfer, you can use the SWIFT code BOSLLCLC. Again, thank you to everybody. Continue to pledge. And I just want to say thank you to the frontliners and everybody who has been helping in this fight against COVID. Thank you.
Chi or Ben, anything else you would like to say at this point? Is there anything else? If I can just use this opportunity to address the people of Saint Lucia on a few very urgent matters. One is of great concern to me is the news that went around of stolen alcohol from the Saint Lucia distillers. And I am making this plea to the people who have stolen the alcohol not to go mixing this, because the advice that we're receiving is that this is a matter of life and death. At 95% proof alcohol, anyone who consumes this can be in a very difficult health position. This is going to weaken your immune system. It is way above the proof of normal alcohol, and I'm begging you as citizens of Saint Lucia to take heed and to ensure that you only purchase alcohol that is approved, that is sealed, that is manufactured from our manufacturers in local mixes. Just ensure that you safeguard yourself and double check, triple check, quadruple check. This is a matter of life and death. Please ensure that you stay away from any informal manufacturing of alcohol mixes at this time because of fear that there might be in the market some very hazardous alcoholic beverages or contents in the possession of individuals who may be going around. So I want to take this opportunity to ask you kindly, please, I beg of you, to only buy alcohol from formal manufacturers. Thank you very much, Jesse and Cokes, for the opportunity, and thanks to DSH again for such a tremendous outpouring of their corporate responsibility. We look forward to see the advancement of your project in St. Lucia. I spoke to our Prime Minister just a short time ago, and he sends his regards and his own appreciation and thanks for your tremendous support to St. Lucia at this time. You are a company that has not been here for a long time, but you continue to show your generosity and your investment, not just in St. Lucia's infrastructure, but in its people. And we feel that we have a very good friend in you at this time as we fight a very, very difficult time in our country's history, when ourselves, our Caribbean countries as well, go through one of the most sensitive periods in our history. And you know, it's really good to know that you've got friends who are standing by you and who are supporting you. So thank you for being such a great friend to the people of St. Lucia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Minister Fede and Michelle from the NCF, as well as Mr. Chi Choi, Project Director at DSH, and Mr. Ben Walden, the Chief Operations Officer with the Turf Club. We are due for a break. When we come back, our final segment where we wrap up and provide you with some important bulletin info. Stay tuned.
COVID-19 is a new pandemic disease as declared by the World Health Organization. It is transmitted directly by respiratory droplets when an infected person coughs or sneezes, or indirectly through rubbing the face with contaminated hands. There is still no specific treatment or vaccine against COVID-19, and as such, the farming community should adhere to some special recommendations. Ensure that farm clothing and gear is clean. Wash hands thoroughly before harvesting crops. Use face masks and head ties whilst harvesting, cleaning, and packaging crops. Use all safety precautions when transporting crops to the markets and depots, such as handling crates and crops with only clean hands and covering sneezes and coughs with a tissue or the inner arm to ensure body fluids or droplets don't get on produce, and washing hands or using hand sanitizer after using the tissue. More than ever before, your important role as gatekeepers of St. Lucia's nutritional, health, and food security should be taken seriously. When you exercise these precautions, you not only safeguard your health, but also continue to allow all St. Lucians access to freshly grown fruits, vegetables, and other local crops. Remember, it is our responsibility to ensure our nation eats fresh, St. Lucia's best.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. We are live on NTN, whittled down to our final segment of the COVID-19 response report this morning. Just to give you a sense of what just happened, we had a presentation, a generous monetary donation being made toward the COVID-19 efforts here in St. Lucia, made out by Desert Star Holdings, DSH, Caribbean Star, and the Royal St. Lucia Turf Club. proud to be a part of St. Lucia's COVID-19 response, and they made a donation following up on their pledge made on Easter Sunday for the telethon of $212,031 being made out. And other points to note, this telethon has so far welcomed pledges in excess of $2.5 million that will support the urgent need for personal protective equipment, as well for frontline workers, as well as the national feeding program that is ongoing right now. And to date, we've collected $1.8 million of that pledge being made. It has been collected via the telethon, and these pledges continue to roll in. They continue to come in, as we saw up to this morning. Efforts on the COVID-19 response via the GoFundMe platform continue. They have since raised $72,350 and anyone desirous of making a donation to the cause can do so via the local bank account at Bank of St. Lucia. The account number, as stated by Michelle from the NCF, is 10451121, and the name on the account is the National Community Foundation. If you want to make a donation from abroad, you can make that donation using the SWIFT code BOSLLCLC. On Tuesday, May 12th, the GoFundMe platform will close, so we encourage persons, anyone who wasn't able to make a pledge on the day of the telethon, you want to make a pledge now, you can do so. You can go online and make that donation. So show your support to the frontline workers and the ongoing feeding program. The aim is to for the GoFundMe to reach $100,000 over the next 4 days. Of course, understandably so, the telethon, the COVID-19 response telethon committee understands that not everyone can make a contribution under the circumstances. However, we also appreciate all the energies that are being forwarded towards St. Lucia in the ongoing effort. Important bulletin information to note before we close for today. All faith-based organizations are required to prepare a COVID-19 response plan regarding the new measures stipulated under the COVID-19 protocols for community and faith-based organizations. This plan must be submitted to and approved by the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment at the soonest. So that information there coming from the Honorable Minister Leonard Spiderman-Toot. Another point to note as we wrap up the week, applications are now open for persons looking to be enrolled at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. We heard from the Senior Communications Officer of the college earlier this week, Mrs. Nathalie Jolie-Fanis, that the complete online application process online is now up and running, and so you can go online and make your application there. For students who are waiting to do their CXCs, of course your transcripts will be used from your secondary school to determine acceptance in the interim. To go over the latest updates for today, cruise line workers coming in today. We have 219 cruise line workers coming in later this evening. We saw one cruise ship in the harbor. We have the Carnival Glory that will have 207 St. Lucia nationals who worked on that ship disembarking today, as well as the Caribbean Princess having 12 St. Lucia nationals who worked on that cruise ship disembarking today. So that word there coming from the officials. We have 219, and that is the second batch of cruise line workers to come into St. Lucia to be repatriated. We had the first batch of cruise line workers being recently just discharged from quarantine, and that is in the sum of 8 individuals being discharged from quarantine. The Honorable Minister Tourism Minister did state to us earlier this week in an interview that the next batch is scheduled to come in on May 25th. Quite a relief for loved ones and friends of the individuals who are on the high seas, and their situations are in the balance and they're not knowing what's going to happen. Efforts are assiduous in getting them home. 2 have since recovered from COVID-19 in St. Lucia, bringing our total number of recoveries to 17. We have 1 more person being treated for COVID-19, and we got word from the CMO that that individual is stable and responding well to the treatment. The lifting of the alcohol ban, or otherwise the liquor license suspension on island, this has been lifted effective today, Friday, May 8th. However, we do encourage you to drink responsibly. Not because, you know, there was a ban for this period of time means that we should go all in to drinking liquor so much. But we do hope that you will drink responsibly, and certainly, as Carlton likes to mention, we have Mother's Day. It's coinciding with Mother's Day this weekend. So we hope that within your own cluster, in your own home, you can, of course, celebrate responsibly. And finally, we had the Commissioner of Police responding to some of the latest incidents that law enforcement has had to intervene in so far. The incident with the civilian having choice words for a police officer, and we got word from the Commissioner of Police that right now there has been a notice for these individuals to turn themselves in, the individuals who were in the soiree, the social gathering in Union, to turn themselves in as soon as possible. Investigations are ongoing into that matter. Carlton?
Merci, Jesse. Quand nous avons fait, nous avons merci tellement pour tout le monde qui veut, tout le monde qui était en écoute, qu'on t'a observé. Nous tenions dans ici une présentation qui fait pas de temps Pâques. Nous fait téléphone là et quand chaque monde fait commitment pour aider là il vient pour ce commitment ça nous tenir dans studio ici à bon matin DSH ça c'est de Star Holding Caribbean Star et puis Royal Saint Lucia Tough Club qui est représenté par Chichu c'est lui qui est directeur projet DSH là et monsieur Ben Warden c'est lui qui est coordinateur opération là yo fait une donation l'argent $212 030 pour projet téléphone ou qu'ils savent l'argent ça va aller pour aider ces gens travail essentiel et puis pour soigner les gens qui plus vulnérables parmi nous. Quand nous fermons nous gardons encore ces gens qui ka retourner gens qui travaillent sous bateau yo ka retourner jodia 219 nous ka deux bateaux ka mener yo Carnival Glory kaini 207 et puis Caribbean Princess kaini 12 parmi l'autre bagaille CMO a fait nous savent deux ces trois c'est moun yo teni isolation qui testé positive hay kayo quoi nous était yon moun qui testé puis positive qui a pris traitement et qui a aller bien tout bonnement et puis il vient faire moun changer ça pas veut dire toute bagaille bon ça pas veut dire toute bagaille vie normal nous ka combattre Covid toujours ou kay aussi savent yo bay l'église Jean Religion opportunité pour ouvrir application yo si yo voulez ouvrir en parmi bagaille yo ni pour faire application ça et puis nous ten message ça hord honorable Leonard Montout qui encourager moun pour voir département justice en parmi l'autre bagaille yo savo il a pour hen permission wom trouver quoi ka vendre jodia nous kay bouta sous nouvelle ça et puis yo cadeau souple mettez quoi responsable même si permission bail la ni condition parmi yo pas ça gain wom dans la supermarket là boutique là et ben kabaria là ko ki hani permission pour ouvrir ek boy ek yo cadeau depuis 7 yo cadeau boy 20 wom quoi souple messieurs nous ici avec nous dit de hod centre command headquarters vermin COVID-19 non moi c'est Carlton Cox avec moi ici et puis Jessica do Dede ni un bon week-end pas oublier mais c'est pour hen moi Primus hodia à 4 pour 5 nous kay un programme en Creole seulement nous kay ba une opportunité pour couiller nous ligne kay ouvert merci tellement.
Bye bye. It's all the time we have for now. We encourage you to stay tuned to NTN for more programming as we deliver you more updates and features as COVID-19. We respond to COVID-19 in Saint Lucia. Do take care and enjoy your weekend, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in Saint Lucia. Cheers.